Hello and welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm John Bachman. Joining us right now via Skype from Washington, D.C. is Congressman Kevin Brady, who represents a district in Texas and also serves as the Joint Economic Committee Chairman. Congressman Brady, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
All right, I want to talk about the Federal Reserve and Janet Yellen. She was confirmed officially by the Senate yesterday. She'll be taking over for outgoing Fed Chair Ben Bernanke. What kind of a mess, I guess, for lack of a better word, does Yellen inherit as the new Fed Chair?
Well, I think she steps into a real time of uncertainty. You know, the markets have been really roiling globally now for the past year, trying to figure out which way the Fed's going to go. You know, they've started a small tapering of their easy money. It's what I would say they're only serving 7 desserts each meal instead of 8. But we're hopeful that they continue. I'm hopeful they continue the tapering. Real big question for her. And clearly, she's qualified to be the driver of the Fed. The question is, what direction does she take it? And one of the big issues is how long does the Fed continue this near zero interest rate policy? Because, you know, the way they're looking at it, it could be going on another 2 years, and that creates real risks in the marketplace.
Now, a guy of your experience, you're still in the Ways and Means Committee, right?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, you're plugged into the whole financial apparatus that goes with Washington. You know, at this point, it's surprising for me to hear that you're still a little uncertain about the way that Yellen might take the Federal Reserve.
Well, she's really, she's really a dove. She really believes the Fed can play a role in unemployment. And the truth of the matter is, monetary policy really can't do that very well. What it's set up to do is protect the value of the dollar over time, to protect against inflation or deflation. I still think that the fact that they're pursuing 2 mandates, which are often contrary to each other, that she's going to actually spend more time in this easy money approach, trying to create some type of federal stimulus for unemployment, when in truth, I think the Fed's role right now is creating uncertainty in the job market.
All right, so we'll see what steps Yellen takes right off the bat. I also want to ask you, Congressman, while we have you here, the Senate this morning passed those extended unemployment benefits for the 1.3 million Americans who had their long-term unemployment benefits cut off right before the beginning of 2014. The ball is now in the court of the House of Representatives. I know a lot of Republicans are looking for some sort of offsetting spending cuts. How do you think this plan stacks up when it gets to the House? What do you think the biggest hurdles are, and what are your concerns?
Well, the first hurdle is I think this is an emergency unemployment program that's run now nearly 5 years. It's designed for unemployment is high and going higher. According to the president, unemployment's come down to 7%. All states' rates have been lowered, and so the emergency is really over. I think the focus ought to be not on extending the emergency program, but actually passing some of the jobs bills. The House has passed 150 of them, including approving the Keystone XL pipeline that would add tens of thousands of new jobs. So, you know, I think the time for regular unemployment is set to begin. I think we should go back to that traditional unemployment weeks and ought to shift our focus to job creation.
And we know Democrats are already trying to make this, along with the minimum wage increases and some other things that people might refer to as class warfare issues early on in the 2014 election cycle. Do you think that Republicans can shift the conversation to things that they want to talk about, things like tax reform, regulation reform, the Keystone pipeline, which you mentioned?
Yeah, I hope so, because continuing to do the same things that the White House has done won't get our economy better. This is still the weakest recovery in more than half a century. A lot of Americans can't find jobs. What we know is continuing to extend the emergency program for unemployment doesn't get them back to work. I think Republicans have a game plan that says, look, let's get the economy going by getting Washington out of the way. Both this terrible tax code we have, just the tsunami of red tape on our local businesses, the president's health care law. This is what our local job creators are telling all of us is the problem. The sooner we address that strong economy and make it stronger, I think the better will be for folks who can't find a job these days.
Yeah, and so you're thinking definitely some sort of tit for tat when we focus back on those unemployment benefits. The president's going to have to give something up he made a personal kind of plea for this today, but he's going to have to give something up to get these through the House of Representatives. That's your take?
Yeah, and it has to be on the job creation side of this, clearly. And, I'm a little frustrated that the president didn't even begin. He's known for more than 2 years that this date has been set, that the unemployment emergency benefits would expire, didn't raise a peep about it until now because of politics. I think early on he could have sat down with us and said, look, what do we need to do to get address the economy and the emergency program? Would have been a much better way.
So you're saying this is kind of a man-made crisis that's been orchestrated by the president?
I think it's more political than anything. And the truth is, if you're really worried about these folks, and we all are, we ought to focus on getting them back into jobs, good-paying jobs they can raise their kids on. That's what's being lost, I think, in this debate.
All right, Kevin Brady, also one of the chief deputy whips in the House of Representatives. Any direction from the leadership on this yet?
Well, we're heading into a meeting here in a short while to be talking about with our members what direction they want to go. From a Ways and Means Committee standpoint, we made it clear early last fall that we believe the emergency unemployment program ought to end and we ought to refocus on jobs. I still think that's the bulk of our conference that wants to go that direction, but there's still some members in pretty tough states, that would like to see us extend it in some way. So we're going to have that conversation later today.
Yes, it's another one of those issues. No easy answers here. Congressman Kevin Brady, thanks for being with us. We'll have you back soon.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
And thanks for watching Newsmax TV.